Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much. Again, as always, 100 shy of 9,000. Half of you are subscribed, half of you are not. Please try to subscribe. We do not bite. Some of us might, but we don't encourage that behavior. And we're not a cult, so if you don't like us, you could leave. But we'd like it if you'd stay. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Tofu. Somebody was having tofu earlier. Not my favorite, but that's okay. You know, I'll sit and have tea or water or I don't know. I think I have Coca-Cola in here. A habit I'm trying to break. Guys, thank you. So listen, this was an unexpected video, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it is there is something in my head that I was working on, but then I went on to the Justice for Corey Facebook page that Brianna Michelow runs for her late son, Corey Michelow, who was the young boy, as we know, who we witnessed over and over again, trying to catch up with a treadmill and failing at it, because even an adult would fail at that. Anybody that gets on a treadmill gets on at no speed and then they start slowly. No. So we know that vision. We know that vision. And so we know who I'm talking about. So I see these letters that it breaks my heart that that this woman, Brianna Michelow, has to defend herself when we've already seen the trial. We've already seen the horrific video that I talked about. And a guilty verdict of aggravated manslaughter and child endangerment. So we even have that now. We've already seen that this child was taken out of this world a month before his 7th birthday. And it didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen. So my problem is that there are people that are actually trying to blame Brianna for things that they could never in a million years even try to understand. And that is just, that's horrible. This woman has placed receipts of several times that she's written to get help for her son because of abuse. You don't have to trust me. Go to Justice for Corey on Facebook. You could see this. You could see the receipts that she has, the times that she's tried. You could see the comments of the ill-willed people that seem to have all the answers. Then you know what? You people that and I wrote this down and somebody said, no, Toddy. So I wrote, you know, if you have all the answers, why don't you go ahead and work for Child and Protective Services? And somebody said, no, Toddy, they would be the wrong people. And I thought, and I said, you're right. But you understand what I'm saying. Instead of you moving your mouth and trying to blame somebody who was in a situation for the very first time, just trying to wrap her head around, is this really fucking real? How come at any time common sense is going to stick here? Is this really fucking real? And it ended up being devastatingly real. Devastatingly real. My son agrees with that. Guys, I saw something. Somebody sent this to me, so it's not that I came across it. So guys, there are 9,000, almost 9,000 of you. We do work together. You guys send me information, and when I think it's relevant, I definitely put it up. I don't just take stuff. You guys know that I am active in my emails. It's hard to keep up with each and every email, but I try, as well as trying in the comments. Hold on one second, guys. Hang on. I got to see what this big deal is. So totally unrelated, but related to other things that's going on, bullshit-wise. My dog was making a big deal because a rabbit was outside the window. I mean, you know, outside the house. And he can clearly see it. But the weird thing was, he was making all that noise, and I look outside, and there's a woman taking a picture of what I think is either my house or my dog. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird, right? So, but the house is for sale. I don't own the house. So I'm thinking, well, maybe, you know. So I go out to look, and I see her walking away, and I was ready to say, hey, what do you know, but I thought to myself, and I look over, and that's when I see the rabbit. And I said, they're making a big deal about the rabbit. That woman probably just wanted to take a picture of the rabbit sitting there. And I bet you that that's all that was about. But that could have easily just turned into something nasty because I assumed. And, you know, anyway, that's just putting it out there. All this woman did was take a picture of a rabbit on my property, and all my pet was doing was responding to a rabbit on the property. And the other one's playing with a squeaky toy. Guys, I want to get back to what I was saying here, but I also wanted to say that you guys sent me something. Somebody sent me something, and I'm going to put it up here, and I don't know if it's real or if it's not real, but you guys know that I had mentioned that there was an open child protective service or child protective services against Chris Gregor previous to Corey moving in and then Corey going and living with Chris on his own. And the Michelos didn't know about this. Nobody knew about it. And I don't think that the jury knew about it. And this is what somebody sent me, which makes me say, I don't know about this girl. I don't know if that's his sister or if this is the person that he was foster parent to. So we're going to go back to David Gregor, okay? So, you know, the bottom line is, yes, I hold him accountable for his child's behavior because he knew that there were complaints about Chris. He knew. And how do you have your blinders on so tight that you just really do not see any fault in your children? And you honestly are so stupid that you think that they do no wrong. You can have the most perfect person. They are going to have faults. That's the way they are. We have flaws. We have things we need to grow with, learn on. And if behavior is bad and it's repetitive and it's a pattern, and as time goes on, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and you don't call out the person, like, why aren't you enabling that? I guarantee you, if the situation was that he was a drug addict, right, and his parents kept giving him money, that we'd all be singing a different tune. Why are the two different? Why? Do you have to be a drug addict to claim what? You can't be just trashy for just being trashy. Come on, guys. And I know it's not us. I know it's not our community, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just common sense. So I want to ask, I keep saying that Brianna should sue the Michelo family. How could this stuff have gone on without David Gregor knowing and hiding it? And how could it not be because of the position he was in? Isn't that also abuse of authority? I think it is. I think when they make a big deal of saying somebody was on a police force for 27 years, they're saying that because we hold those people to a higher regard. So when they fall short of that regard, we need to be able to tell the same people, yeah, but that person failed that. And I don't think the jury heard that. But hindsight, 2020, we know that. Guys, here's another thing I want to say. There's almost 9,000 of you. There are other content creators that are on this case and want the same thing. They just want what Brianna wants, which is justice for Corey. And with all of us here, is there somebody that could reach out to Brianna on Facebook who knows the law and be able to guide her in helping her, but just by advice? It doesn't have to be, but is there somebody that has the time to do that? Because in the interview that I did with Brianna, the stumbling block was she didn't know the laws. She wants to move forward, but she doesn't know where to go first. Is there anybody that could reach out to her on Facebook and just help her with that? Anybody that has extra time? You know, imagine being part of that movement. Imagine that, being part of making a law that keeps children safe. Like, we could do our part. Anybody that has a little bit of time that could reach out to her, please reach out to her at Justice for Corey on Facebook. She didn't ask me to do that. I want you to know she didn't ask for any of this. This is things that I've thought about, and then I watched The Guilty of Crime with Jay and saw those text messages, those horrible text messages that the jury didn't see. Again, I don't understand why we are so protective of the people that are so dangerous, and yet there's not a lot of protection for the victims. I don't get that. I will never understand that. But guys, yeah, I wanted to put that on here because I wanted you guys to be able to come here and see for Justice for Corey the receipts that Brianna had, how many times she went, and I don't know what more a person or a family can do besides, taking the kid and running away. And here's what I was saying in the interview that I did with her, because, you know, she seems to really be torn with that. And the thing is, she had no part in what happened with the outcome of Corey. She had no part in that. Had she have done something that would have been a catalyst to make something else happen, she would have to live with that. She doesn't have to live with that. She followed the rules. The rules did not work for her. They were broken. They didn't work for her son. They didn't work. I think David Gregor had something to do with that, and his clout. I think that the system is also broken. I think that there are good people. Brianna said there was a good person, you know, the very first social worker, and then they took her away from us. And they gave us people, basically, she didn't say this, but the person she got after didn't care, didn't believe anything. It was like that person's mind was already made up, where the person coming in was looking at evidence without any kind of bias. So that's where I keep going back to David Gregor. You see what I'm saying? Besides raising a monster, just taking no accountability, and when you see bad behavior, covering it up. Like, that's horrible, especially when you have a badge. And you use that badge to say you're law-abiding and you uphold the law. No, you didn't. You were a stain to that badge. That's what you are, David Gregor. Guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Please tell me what you think in the comments. And please go over to Facebook, to the Facebook, Justice for Corey. And again, if there's somebody that can help guide Brianna and her mission of, Corey's Law, and speak to her about that, man, that would just be great. I think that she'd really appreciate that. All right, guys. Have a great day. Be better than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always, always be kind. Thanks, guys.